Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A quick reminder of our top stories now. Civil society organizations protest $9.6 billion judgment against Nigeria over a botched gas supply and processing agreement with the Process and Industrial Developments Limited. Supreme Court strikes out suit seeking disqualification of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 presidential election over alleged perjury. Diversion of traffic on the Taraba axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway takes off, with vehicles coming into and exiting Lagos having to patch through 2 lanes each. And Hurricane Dorian batters the Bahamas Islands, causing unprecedented devastation. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website. It's channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of our shows. And to the top stories you already sent in. First is this set of images from the Kara end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway showing this traffic jam. Our eyewitness reports that he was held for several minutes. He says that the grade is not unconnected with the reconstruction of the road which started today. And still on traffic is this image sent in from Iyanokpaja, also in Lagos, to our eyewitness portal, explaining that traffic at this axis is nothing new to residents who have gotten used to it. The reporter says that he looks forward to a time when this road will enjoy free traffic flow. He, however, blames the jam on recklessness amongst motorists. And finally is this drainage at Iponri, still in Lagos, filled with non-degradable waste. Our eyewitness is worried about this trend that has become a common sight in Lagos. While he wants the Lagos State Waste Management Agency to do more, he condemns the attitude of Lagosians towards waste management. We do sincerely thank you for sending in these stories. Please know that you too can send in stories from around you, particularly on how you're coping with the road reconstruction at the Taraba axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. We do sincerely thank you. More stories now. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has approved the deployment of special forces to support crime fighting in the southwest. This forms part of the resolution at the end of a security summit convened by the police chief in conjunction with all the southwest governors and traditional leaders across the region. The summit resolved that there was need to strengthen border protection, increasing funding for the police and strengthening community policing, among others.
Call this an emergency meeting and you may not be wrong. It's the second security summit of the Southwest region holding in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, organized at the instance of the Inspector General of Police. In attendance are governors, deputy governors, monarchs and players in the security industry. The meeting commences and concerns are immediately raised over containing border infiltration.
Our borders are very porous. There has been infiltration of Nigeria from neighboring countries, especially our contiguous zones, contiguous countries. There is need for heightened security in our various borders.
It is also suggested that the Southwest governors should take proactive steps in communicating the security challenges affecting their states to the president.
All the Southwest governors meet President Buhari, tell him all the logistics support you need. Let them vote bulk money for employment of the people who will assist the police, who will do the community policing. There is no patriotism on empty stomach.
What better way of providing assurance of safety in the region than the promise of deploying more police officers to the states?
We must, as a strategy, strengthen partnership among ourselves as a community on the one hand, and between the communities and the police on the other hand.
At the end, the communique is read out, showing that there is a general agreement on what the way forward should be.
The Inspector General of Police has approved the deployment of special forces to be commanded by a Commissioner of Police, who will lead a SWAT team to support the crime-fighting initiative of the State Commissioners of Police. The executive governors of the Southwest Geopolitical Zone have made commitments towards provision of more serviceable, fast-moving patrol vehicles in support of crime fighting, which shall be launched in no distant future to complement the available fleet.
As the summit ends, the hope of an immediate action plan is what many look forward to nip the fast-rising crime wave in the region and ultimately the entire country in the bud.
Youths of Donga town in Donga local government area of Taraba state have repelled an attack by gunmen, killing several of the assailants. The chairman of the local council, Nashuka Musa, has confirmed the incident to Channels Television via a telephone interview, saying that the attackers came through Ventral Seminary, shooting sporadically. According to him, the youths of the community rallied together and fought the attackers with their bows and arrows, killing at least 4 of the bandits. Mr. Musa alleged that on several occasions the bandits often launched unprovoked attacks on the community and in some cases kidnapped their victims. Donga local government area is one of 5 local government areas in southern Taraba state that have recently come under attack by gunmen. Still on security, the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Arbitrary Executions, Agnes Callamard, is calling for forensic investigation into deaths recorded during clashes between the police and Islamic movement in Nigeria. At a media briefing in Abuja, the UN envoy says that the lack of trust in the judicial system is the reason for jungle justice in the country. She also accused the police of using excessive force in carrying out its duties.
Preliminary findings, by the way.
Especially in human rights violations, which you think...
I have tried to understand what's happening and why the targeting of that particular group and why and how it has been declared unlawful. The government has argued that this group is weaponized and is anti-Nigeria and anti-government. I have asked for the evidence to it, which so far I have not received. So part of me tends to think that the declaration of IMN as an unlawful group is almost prospective in its nature. It's about what they think IMN could become rather than what IMN is. There have been massive casualties in the context of various processions or events. Now, the last one in Abuja has resulted as well in the killing of a deputy police commissioner and of a journalist, something and of IMN members. I have asked whether the killing of the deputy police commissioner has been fully investigated, whether forensic inquiries and scientific inquiries have taken place in order to determine the provenance of the bullet that killed him and indeed which arm was used for killing him. I have not received that information.
You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's quickly shift over to our Abuja studios now, where Mark Ogun Yusuf is standing by to take us through a couple of more stories. Good to see you again, Mark.
Hello, Gimba. It's good to see you, and we welcome our viewers to our Abuja studios. Nigeria's Foreign Minister Geoffrey Onyema has accused the South African police of doing little to stem the wave of xenophobic attacks on foreign-owned businesses in that country. Reacting to the latest incidents in a tweet, Mr. Onyema described the violence that rocked central Johannesburg overnight as sickening and depressing, vowing that the federal government would take definitive action. Several mechanic workshops and car dealerships belonging to Nigerians have been looted and burnt, while a metro policeman trying to contain the violence was shot by an armed looter. 31 people have so far been arrested for public violence recorded in downtown Johannesburg, Jules Street and the Morven area. Nigeria's High Commissioner to South Africa, Godwin Adama, has been speaking on how his office is handling the situation.
Yes, a few Nigerians that reach out to me, even some through my secretary and some other telephone lines of the mission, I took time to personally call each of them to ask them what is happening on the ground, and a number of them told me they have lost some of their properties which were broken into throughout the night to early hours of this morning. And they told me that policemen were actually available, but not enough to be able to contain the huge number of crowd of looters that have come around them. But in any case, at the moment, I also asked them what is happening at the moment. They say, well, there's nothing happening at the moment, but there are threats that they could continue. And they sought for my intervention on the matter. And I asked them to exercise patience, that we are doing everything possible to intervene from high levels.
Well, back home at the tribunals, election matters are still raging. This time, the Election Petitions Tribunal in Osun State has nullified the poll that produced Mr. Bamidele Salam as a lawmaker representing Ede North, Ede South, Egbedore and Ijibu Federal Constituency in Osun State. The tribunal also declared the elections that produced two other PDP lawmakers representing Obokun and Ede North constituencies inconclusive and ordered a rerun. Delivering the judgment, Justice Ayo Ita, who led the three-man panel, said the petitioner Adejare Bello of the APC has proved his case of overvoting in some polling units beyond reasonable doubt. Counsel to the APC, Kolakpo Alimi, believes the judgment will stand the test of time, while the lawmaker Bamidele Salam has promised to meet his lawyers on the next line of action.
The court ordered rerun in some units. The same thing with two houses of assembly. The one against Ivelodu State constituency, the petition was dismissed against Dr. Mulikat. The one against Ede North rerun is being ordered in 12 units, in Obokun in 4 units because of non-compliance. Overvoting were funded, and because they are non-compliance in line with the provision of the Electoral Act, rerun has been ordered. We want to appreciate the tribunal for this erudite ruling, for the scholarship put in the judgment.
I have my reservation about the judgment, but as a legal practitioner, I also don't like commenting so much on a matter like that. I will discuss with my legal team, and we're going to take a position on what we're going to do, going forward. We believe very strongly that the court did not take cognizance of so many issues of law, point of law that were contained in our written address. We believe very strongly that there is a lot of gap between the judgment and the pleadings. We believe that so many things are not in tandem with the precedent that courts have laid down in treating matters like that, Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and so many other cases taken before. But like I said, we remain calm. We're going to discuss with our legal counsel, and then we're going to take a position on what we're going to do next.
Meanwhile, in Abuja, the federal capital, an election tribunal has also dismissed a petition challenging the emergence of Senator Ali Ndume as the winner of the February 23rd Borno South senatorial election. Malam Kudla Satumari of the People's Democratic Party had approached the court to seek a nullification of the election, citing alleged irregularities. They include thuggery, intimidation of voters, results manipulation, and non-compliance with electoral laws. The PDP candidate asked the tribunal to order a fresh election within 90 days. In his ruling, the tribunal's chairman, Justice Peter Kekemeke, dismissed the petition, saying the petitioner was unable to substantiate his allegations beyond reasonable doubt. When the news at 10 returns, Hurricane Dorian batters the Bahamas Islands, causing unprecedented devastation, as Prime Minister Herbert Minnis notes that the storm remains extremely dangerous. That's on the international scene with Around the World in 5. Do join us again.